好，23題啦，就係要我哋比較翻啦，反射動作同埋隨意動作嘅。咁下面咧呢個 table 咧俾晒你㗎啦。其實我只係將書嗰個 table 咧，因為太長啊，我將佢 cut 走咗，就將佢分咗兩邊啫。其實都係同一個 table 嚟嘅啫。咁啊做咗擊破咯喎，第一個啦，反射動作咧就會變嘅。咁啊其實反射動作咧係唔會變嘅，因為反射動作咧係已經係一個非常之單一化嘅反應，同一個刺激就只會同一個反應。你唔小心掂到熱嘅水煲，你就會縮手；你唔小心掂到一樣好尖嘅嘢，好吉親你嘅話咧，你又會即刻縮手，係唔會變嘅。咁但係啦 voluntary action 咧倒翻轉佢就話啦係一樣嘅，其實都係錯，反而咧voluntary action 咧先係會變就真。咁啊因為啦你係經過大腦分析啊嘛，同一個人咧撳門鐘你可以唔理佢噶嘛，電話響你唔一定要理佢噶嘛，咁所以啦 A 咧其實佢剛剛就倒轉咗，而 B 咧佢就話啦反射動作咧有冇刺激係唔緊要嘅，呢個係錯嘅。咁啊因為反射動作咧係一定咧要有刺激嘅，如果唔係嘅話咧，咁唔通無啦啦你會縮手咩？係咪？咁跟住啦隨意動作咧係需要刺激嘅，呢個都係錯。相反啊，佢嘅刺激咧就係 optional 啦，你唔一定要聽到門鐘聲去開門噶嘛，你可以自己走去開門噶嘛。你唔一定要係聽到電話先拎起個電話噶嘛，你無啦啦想拎起個電話 check 下 IG check 下 YouTube 睇下兩誰 up 咗片未都係可以噶嘛。跟住去到 C 啦 reflex action 咧就係由呢個 receptor 咧去引起嘅，而 voluntary action 咧就係由個腦咧去引起嘅。咁啊因為啦成個反射動作咧佢都係唔關個大腦事嘅，純粹就係啦你個手指頭嗰個咁樣嘅 hot receptor 俾人刺激得到，跟住就 send 咗呢一個 impulse 去你個 reflex arc 咧，你就捉到手噶啦已經，你個反射弧啊。而隨意動作咧就係由個腦咧去做大腦啦。我想開門，我想拎起個電話，我想開部電腦嚟打機，我想打開隻窗，呢啲都係你自己話事嘅。跟住到 option D 啦，佢就話反射動作咧嗰個反應器啊一定咧係肌肉嚟嘅。咁呢個都冇話錯嘅。咁啊因為啦你縮手啊踢腳啊，即使你瞳孔收細都要當中咧都係牽涉肌肉嘅。咁但係隨意動作佢就話啦嗰個反應器咧可以係肌肉，可以係啲 gland 咧，係個 gland 咧就出咗事啦。咁啊因為啦我哋係唔能夠隨意地控制得到我流汗啦、流口水啦、分泌眼淚啦、分泌其他消化液嘅功能嘅。咁包括我亦都冇辦法去控制得到我哋個胰臟去釋放多啲胰島素或者釋放多啲高糖素嘅。咁所以咧啲都係錯，咁所以答案就係 C 啦。Question 23 is asking us to compare reflex action and the voluntary action. So I extract the table for you. Actually, I just break the table in two parts for the easier formatting. So let's take a look at the answer. Option A, reflex action, the response may vary. For the voluntary action, the response are always the same. Actually, the concept is just reversed. For reflex action, the response is stereotype, so that's why it should be the same. And the voluntary action, the response can vary. For example, when you hear someone locking the door, so actually you can ignore them or you can choose to open the door. For the reflex action, once you accidentally touch some very hot thing or sharp thing, there will be a withdrawal reflex. And for the option B, reflex action, the stimulus is optional, but for the voluntary action, the stimulus is required. Actually, it's also wrong. There must be a stimuli for the reflex action. You will not suddenly withdraw your arm or kick your leg. So because the concept is that because there must be a stimuli to stimulate, for example, your hot receptor on your fingertip, and then you will withdraw your arm. But for the voluntary action, it's not that necessary for you to hear someone locking the door and then you open the door. You open the door when you want to open the door. You do not need to wait for someone to call you by the phone and then you pick up your mobile phone. You can voluntarily take up your mobile phone and then to check that whether Mr. Leung upload a new video in the YouTube or anything news in the IG. And for option C, reflex action is initiated by the receptor, and for the voluntary action is initiated by the brain. It's the correct comparison because we really need the receptor to stimulate the whole reflex act. For the voluntary action is initiated in the brain, always involve the cerebrum. I want to open the door. I want to open the window. I want to take up the phone. I want to move my arm and my leg. Those are the actions I want to do and then I do it. And for the option D, of course, it's wrong. Effector must be the muscle in the reflex action. So for the very common reflex action, for example, withdrawal reflex, knee jerk reflex, So muscles are really involved. Even the constriction of the pupil, it also involves muscle. And for the voluntary action, the effector can be muscle or gland. This part is not that correct because I cannot voluntarily to think about I want to secrete saliva, I want to secrete more sweat, I want to secrete some gastric juice, or I want to secrete more insulin or more glucagon. I cannot control by my cerebrum. So that's why it's not a voluntary action.